Good evening, you two. Are you in the mood for a good conspiracy theory? One that involves the 41st President of the United States, Ronald Reagan, Iran-Contra, and cocaine? Shall we begin? By the way, if you can stay to the end of the video, I have a bombshell statement to make that's going to wrap this whole thing up for you. Now, the key to this conspiracy theory is, of course, for you to figure out who I am. And then go to my Facebook page and look at my list of friends to see if the people I talk about exist and if I'm connected with them. Anyway, let us begin. During the second term of President Reagan's presidency, the president was concerned that the communist threat in Nicaragua was spreading into Honduras and El Salvador. Unfortunately, the U.S. Congress did not share his sentiments on this and cut off funding to the CIA's operations to stabilize the area. This did not sit well in the White House, so they decided to find alternate ways of funding this effort. Now, history tells us there were two ways they funded it. They sold arms to Iran, and then used the proceeds from those weapon sales to buy arms for the Contras and fly them down to Honduras and then give them to the Contras in the area so that they could fight off the Nicaraguan communists. Right. But there might have been another funding source. Let's put the pieces on the table, shall we? In the mid-1980s, there was an international arms dealer located in Alexandria, Virginia by the name of Interarms. They were the source for the weapons that we're going to be talking about in this operation. The weapons that were smuggled into Nicaragua, into Honduras and El Salvador came from here. They were then transported to this airport in Fulton County, Virginia. Take special interest in this warehouse right here. I'd also like to point out a facility called Range 82. Why am I pointing these places out? To this very day, the CIA runs Black Ops out of this airport. And the contractors, this is their headquarters. That's where I guess they called them defense contractors. Back in my day, we called them mercenaries. Anyway, if you know anything about Fulton County, you'll realize that the place is filthy with ex-CIA people. Now, the weapons were transported to this airport, and then they were flown in a Black Ops flight to South America or Central America. And when they came back, they weren't exactly empty. You see, during the course of the fighting down there, large amounts of cocaine were captured. Okay, now they realized that this was a potential revenue source. So the cocaine was brought back on the Black Ops, which, by the way, didn't go through customs. The cocaine was then transported to this is a more current photo of the Pagan Motorcycle Gang. I don't know any of these people, but back in the day, they were the distributors of the cocaine. The cocaine was given to them. They would then distribute it and give us a lump sum of money that we would then use to restart the process. Okay. Now, a little bit about me and my associates. Me and my associates are from the Northern Virginia area, specifically from a little town called Dale City. And, you know, we pretty much ran Dale City during the 1980s. Okay? And we were very patriotic, and we worked with the CIA on a number of things, and we also worked with the local police, and we also had contacts with the mafia, both the Boston and New York flavors. Now, about this plan I just outlined. Now, whose plan, whose evil plan was this? Who pitched this plan? Well, it was me. Where did I get the idea from? Well, from my brother-in-law. Yes, my brother-in-law was working with the New York branch of the mafia, and he was buying weapons at gun stores in Northern Virginia, transferring them to New York City, where he would then trade them for cocaine, and then he would bring the cocaine to, you guessed it, he would then take the money from there and bring it back to his masters, where the process would begin over and over again. Unfortunately for him, he was horrible at his job and was arrested and convicted not once but twice. But my brother-in-law did not have the connections that I and my associates had. You see, first of all, we first came to the notice of the authorities from this incident here. It was during the investigation of that incident that the authorities realized that they had a group of very well organized, well-trained, very patriotic youths in the area that could be used for operations here in the United States. See, here's something about the CIA. The CIA cannot operate within the United States. Of course, this, is more of a guideline than a rule, but still they have to use local resources. Those local resources were me and my associates. And here we go. Now, how this was our first job was to keep the Russians and the Warsaw Pact diplomats away from this location, which we did by running them off the road and roughing them up whenever they went to stop and get gas for their cars. Very effective, very effective. Now, how was this idea pitched? Well, here's the little social network, you can say. My girlfriend at the time's father was the chief of police for Prince William County. My bestest friend and associate, who will remain nameless, his father was a deputy chief of Arlington County. And yet a third associate of mine's father-in-law was a captain in the Secret Service, who was bestest friends with the occupant of Blair House, where he was head of security. And that's where the 41st president comes into the picture. I had never met him, but somebody got word to his associates. And the handlers created a residential construction company for building homes, and they financed some of our businesses. And that's how that works. Okay? So, um, by the way, that particular Secret Service agent was also famous for threatening to shoot Hillary Clinton in the head. Apparently, he didn't like her. Now, this is the conspiracy I've laid out. It is up to you, the listener, to investigate to see if anything that I say makes sense. But before you go, I did promise you a big announcement. Are you ready? Are you ready for the big secret? I thought you were. Here it is. This is all the proof you need to realize that this is not a conspiracy theory, but it is in fact real history. And that is, this is all bullshit. You've been pranked. Or have you? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and have a nice day.